So look at here. What is virtualization? What is virtualization? Create a software-based or virtual representation of application, server, storage, network to reduce IT expenses while boosting efficiency and agility. Okay, while boosting efficiency and agility. So important part is software-based or virtual representation of application. Means we can virtualize an application or a server or a storage network and like that. Okay, so that is a main kind of virtualization, software based or software defined or a software defined kind of stuff. Okay, so I'm not reading usually I don't like to read PPT kind of stuff, right? So then we'll go to so look, I want to ask the questions first of all. So guys, when you say like you didn't attend this class, for example, I don't explain virtualization. Someone ask a question. Till now, what are the up to now? What are your knowledge? It is someone asked you a question. Can you tell me about anything related to virtualization? So what you will tell? Simple question, right? Can you tell me about what is virtualization? Anything about a virtualization? First time when you heard about virtualization?
Virtualization is a technology
Making physical
that lets you create useful
converting
IT
into
services.
software, hardware into software.
Telling answer. I'm asking very simple thing. First time we heard a virtual related thing is
Physical resource into logical resources.
physical resources to logical resources. Very good. Normally tell, just normally, generally, like a layman terms first. First one is virtual machine.
To run multiple operating systems in a single platform.
Virtual hard disk. Okay. Virtual disk. VMnet 0. VMnet 1.
Using
Virtual.
hardware resources and making separate software resources.
Very good. Very good. Very good. Okay.
We used our hardware resources and we created virtual machines by separate softwares.
Good. So, yes, physical to some separation. So, like a detachment or a intact, utilizing physical resources and creating a multiple things on a you running multiple things on a single physical resources kind of stuff. Okay, so a lot of definitions of virtualization is there, but what we seen in our practical world, okay, in our experience, so without telling what is virtualization, what we see, the first thing is, you know, virtual things based on a virtual machines. We created a virtual machine and we installed a Windows 10, we installed a Windows server, we installed a Linux in the virtual machines, right? We say it is not a machine, it is a virtual machine. Okay, in my physical machine I have a Windows 10, but in my virtual machine I have a different operating system. One virtual machine having Windows 10, another virtual machine having Windows server, another virtual machine having Linux, like that, right? Of course, this virtual machine is VMware vSphere, so that's separately I will tell you. Okay, next, virtual hard disk. VHD, VHDX, okay, and we store our virtual machine data into VMDK files, right? So that is a virtual hard disk files. Virtual NICs. So when you go to network adapters, ncpa.cpl, if you look at here, so last time when we do a practical, like we link the machine to VMnet 1, okay. So what is this VMnet 1, VMnet 2, VMnet 8? These are virtual Ethernet adapters. You can see this is VMware virtual Ethernet adapters, okay, which is don't have any physical hardware. Which is don't have any physical hardware. But if you look at this one, Ethernet, see this is the physical hardware existing for this one. It is a physically existing NIC. My Wi-Fi, physically existing NIC. It's a physical NIC. Okay, Wi-Fi adapter. But this is not a physical one. It is a virtual one. So we can give any example of any definition of software representation or virtual representation, okay, or a utilization of means create a multiple run multiple things like independent of physical hardware, okay. Any definition we can tell, but simple example to understand, first understand is virtual machines, virtual days, virtual NICs, virtual applications also there, okay, like this, okay. So that's the for that one only I ask, okay. So there is a different type of definitions we have, okay, good. Next, so I'm giving this definition, guys. You can give any kind of stuff. Software defined SDN, software defined networks, SDN, software defined networks also there, okay. So software based means software will define, means how I created these virtual machines, by using a software called a VMware workstation. A software called a VMware workstation. I create a virtual machine, okay. Here it is. Look at here. This is my physical machine, okay. This is a physical machine, right? You want to run an operating system in it. Sorry. This is a machine. Simple example for understanding from basics, okay. So in a physical machine, we have a CPU, motherboard, RAM, hard disk, BIOS, okay, BIOS, like that, UEFI, BIOS or UEFI, okay, like this. We have a hardware layer of our system is there. We have a hardware layer of system is there, okay. We have a computer or a laptop. We have a hardware, right? Without a hardware, it won't work. Like if you see a computer or a server, what is the basic things are there? Not shopping images. See, this is the motherboard. On motherboard, you insert a CPU, RAMs, okay, and cabinets. If you go to the cabinet means the box, like this. Look at here. This is a basic computer. So it is a cabinet. It look like this one. This is the internal part of cabinet, means motherboard, processor on a motherboard, RAMs on motherboard, hard disk is connected to motherboard, SMPS is power supplying to your motherboard and hard disk, CD-ROM, like that. Okay, like this. Okay. So this is a single motherboard. This is the your cabinets. So total a one computer unit. Like this. When you take a laptop, this is a laptop internal components. Inside a laptop it is. Okay. Internal components of laptop. Okay. So different internal components, internal motherboard. Inside on motherboard, what will be there? Again, processor. You can insert the sodium RAM module. You can able to insert it. Okay. So that is what I'm trying to say. It is without a hardware, there is no computer kind of stuff. First of all. Next, on to work with the hardware, what we need a operating system. It can be a Windows operating system, Linux operating system, Unix operating system, Windows Server operating system, like that. We need a operating system. The question is, up to now, okay, but why we need a computer? Okay, why we need an operating system in the computer? What is the purpose of that one? Tell me. Anyone?
Sir, just to interface these software and hardware, sir.
Yeah, it provide a interface between software and hardware. That's a good one. But why we need interface?
To
Why
make
you
work
need a computer?
easy, to
To run applications, sir.
buy
Very,
applications easy.
very good. To run
Just to run
applications. We run multiple type of applications. Maybe it is a
Hmm.
VLC player, web browser, or it can be a VMware, anything. We run an application to run applications for our working purpose. We need an operating system because operating system provide runnable environment, and also it will tell you how to send a your program or a application to run application on the hardware. Operating system will be supported, interacts with your basic hardware. Like you want to play a music, also we need a hardware interference, right? So operating system provide that one. So this is your basic computer. This is your basic computer. In this one, we need a hardware, operating system, and application is your system. Now it is little change. Same thing only, little change. Same thing, no difference. So in this phase, here it is. Okay, we run this applications, operating system, and all. I'm trying to say like a software defined type. Okay, so I have a certain using some application like a VMware or a virtual box kind of stuff. So I created a virtual machine. In this machine. Okay, so when you say a machine means we need a hardware. Without hardware, no operating system nor application running. But in the virtual machine, we are installing operating system and we are running applications in that one also. But where is the physical hardware or a dedicated hardware for a virtual machine? Okay, this is my physical laptop. I have a physical hardware, physical CPU, physical RAM is there. But this is my virtual machine. Where is the physical hardware for this particular machine or a dedicated hardware for the particular machine? Tell me. How can I create a virtual machine? This one using, for example, VMware workstation. Okay, so that is nothing but some application or a virtual box. I can use virtual box or any something. So different between one virtualization and another virtualization. I use a hypervisor application. Okay, so this is specifically this is a hypervisor. Name of this type of applications or applications like a VMware workstation, virtual box. Up to now, what we know, that is I'm explaining. I'm not explaining anything newly. Okay, so in this hypervisor application, I created this virtual machine. And who is giving the hardware for you? The virtual hardware will be defined it's for you. Okay, so this hypervisor application creating this software defined infrastructure. Software defined infrastructure. What is infrastructure? CPU, RAM, motherboard, hard disk, okay, network connections, all these things. Okay, yeah, this is a one more thing we forget, that is your NICs. Okay, network connections. So everything is a software defined. Okay, software defined infrastructure or software defined hardware. So what are the name you put it? You'll put it here to our virtual machine. Either it is physical or virtual, but we are getting a infrastructure. Without infrastructure, you can't able to run. Okay, without a physical infrastructure, you can't able to run any machine, right?
Virtual machine. Yes.
But here we don't have any physical infrastructure, but we have a virtual infrastructure. It is nothing but a software defined infrastructure. Next, virtual machine. When we are using a VMware, in a VMware we are installed VMware servers. Okay, in VMware we are installed a Windows servers, Windows 10, and also we installed a Linux systems. Okay, we install a Linux system. But how you use your physical machine, same way we are using this virtual machine, right? Okay, so when we are saying it is how we use our physical machine. Okay, same functions we do on virtual machine, right? So we can install a application in my physical machine. I can install same application in my virtual machine. Okay, with customized hardware, but hardware RAM kind of stuff you have to change. That's the little bit different, but how we use a physical machine, same thing we can do function like a machine. So what is a virtual machine? It is a software defined kind of stuff, or a software based or a software defined kind of stuff. Okay, it is function like our physical one. It is function like a physical one. Okay, we run application in physical machine in a virtual machine. Like in a physical machine. So these two for understanding, okay, both are like a same. Next, virtual machine don't have any physical hardware, but it utilize your physical hardware. Okay, it utilize your physical hardware, but it don't have any physical hardware. So that's the thing it is. Okay, so I'm writing about a virtual machine kind of stuff. So for understanding, I'm writing this one. So look at here. Virtual machines don't have any physical hardware. Good. But we are getting a software defined hardware, virtual hardware. Okay. So virtual machines utilize physical hardware, but not attached to your physical hardware, not attached or not in contact. Okay, not attached or a contact. Okay, contact or we can bind. We can say bind, bind, bind to the physical hardware. So it utilize your physical resources. Exactly, say not a hardware. You can say physical resources also. You can say it utilize your physical resources, but not attached or contacted or binded. Meaning is intact, detach, intact, unbind, unbind. These words are there. Okay, with your physical resources or physical hardware. Resources means everything will come up in that one. Okay, so what is this virtual machine? So I am talking in a virtual machine manner because we know very well about a virtual machines are not other than anything, right? So utilize your physical hardware, but not attached, detached, and the means. The meaning is we can transfer our virtual machine to other physical machines, other physical machines, or you can store into any storage like a external hard disk. Okay, I will give you an example. Okay, so means 3 4 years, 2 years back, I think 1919 2019. Okay, so usually like I created two virtual machines in my VMware. One is like a on Linux. Both are Linux machines only. On Linux, one Linux is Red Hat 5, Oracle 5. Sorry, Oracle 5. In it, I installed a Oracle 11z. Okay, in it, I installed a Oracle 11z. Okay, and what I done, I installed it successfully. Virtual machine is created. Then I copy this virtual machine, okay, to my external hard disk. So some of my students, like they want to practice Oracle in their home after completion of classes and all. So what they done, I copied this virtual machine to their laptops, and I do small settings are required. I do local settings. Okay, then I showed how to log in. Very simple, right? So I have a virtual machine which is installed with the Oracle 11z. I copied into my external hard disk, and I copied that uh, machine to other machines, others, their machines. So obviously they can able to use it. So can we copy entire our system directly like that? Lot of issues will come up, right? So that is called a attach and detach model. So you can, the machine is not binded with your physical machine. It utilizes your physical resources but not binding with your physical machine. So you can transfer the virtual machines from one machine to another machine, or one machine to a particular storage. Also we can able to transfer it. Okay. So 2 points I told about virtual machines. One is it utilize physical hardware. It function like a same as a physical machine. Okay, 3 points I told. So function like a same as a physical machine. It is utilize your physical hardware. It is not attached to your physical hardware. It is not binded to your physical resources or physical machine or physical hardware. Third point I told, virtual machines can be transferred from one place to another place. Transfer means not only just a transfer kind of stuff, we can copy, move, delete virtual machines. We can copy, move, delete virtual machines. We can delete the virtual machines also. Guys, understand about a small thing about a virtual machine?
Yes, sir, got it, sir.
Why we got it? Because we already know. So unnecessarily I'm telling all this story, right? Yeah. Don't think like that. Because of, guys, there is a problem with technology. Everything is the same. Only one thing is different names. Like I know HyperV very well. Almost like I worked on a HyperV, including Microsoft certified in a HyperV. Okay. So from 2012 server onwards, I know HyperV. Okay, 2012 server onwards. I started using Hyper-V from 2014, almost like a 14 onwards. Okay, so 14 I know what is a Hyper-V kind of stuff. 15 completely 15, 16 I use Hyper-V kind of stuff, including so many other virtualization platform. I know Hyper-V and RHEV. RHEV not popular because it's only dedicated for only one single lab purpose only. But I use Hyper-V for all labs. Okay, we are using VMware now, so like that we use a Hyper-V for that one. Okay, so SCVMM, SCAC, these kind of stuff also I learn and I done certification and I taught to the people. And when I joined for a VMware, vSphere and vCenter kind of stuff, both are same. Only few differences. Only terminologies are different. Only terminologies are different. So then when I see other things like a Citrix and other things, yeah, only is a concept is same. The terminology, software, organizations, license terminologies are a little different. That's the only thing is there. So that's what I'm trying to say is, if you see in a prospective means only definition manner, we never understand what it is. If you understand what it is exactly and what is the difference between this and this, in which situation we talk to the people in which ways. For example, you are CTS, non-service desk people. I'll talk in a non-service desk manner. Service desk people, same concept, but in a service desk manner. Okay. So based on that situation, names, language will be little different. See, look at this. I took a physical machine. Take a physical hard disk. Take a physical hard disk. In the physical hard disk, you have a, sorry, this is my physical hard disk. My hard disk drives. This all are physical only. So this is a virtual hard disk. This is the virtual hard disk. So it is just a file in the physical hard disk. It stores in my physical hard disk. I open this one by mounting it. Right click and mount. We have to do it, but I double click. It is came. See, it is a iDrive. It is showing it contains some files. Okay, see, it is a 20 GB drive. is a 20 GB drive. Inside you see there is a data. So how I store a data in my physical machine? Same way I store the data in the virtual hard disk. Same way I store the data in my virtual hard disk. But it is not a physical hard disk, right? It is a virtual hard disk. The virtual hard disk is stored, the entire virtual hard disk, in my physical hard disk. Confused? I have a physical hard disk. Look at here. H drive is physical drive. Physical hard disk is there, one partition, H drive. In the H drive, I have a virtual hard disk file. When I mount it, so that's why I didn't done rightly. It will take time. Okay, I double click on it. So when I attach this virtual hard disk, see it is. Click on mount, it will be mounted. When I attach this hard disk, it is attached and showing some data. It means earlier I stored some data in the virtual hard disk. It is showing the data here. Okay, so if you want to store some data in this one, you can store it. You're storing a data in the virtual hard disk. You're accessing the data from the virtual hard disk. You store the data to virtual hard disk only. But originally, the virtual hard disk utilizes space in the physical hard disk only. In the physical hard disk only, and you can copy this virtual hard disk and store in any other machines, or you can keep it in your external hard disk for the further reference. Who will ask you, right? So it is not attached. It means not binded. Attached means here it is the meaning is not binded to your physical machine. You can just simply copy or move or delete from your machine to a storage or a other machines. You can detach or eject like this. I'm ejecting it. Just it is remove the drive. Okay, remove the drive. Data is still there here in this one inside. If you attach it, you can able to access. Means you connected, you mounted it. You can put the data. You can access the data, kind of stuff. Okay. If you say eject, so then you can't able to access the data. Okay. So this kind of stuff. Yes, understand. Virtual hard disk.
Yes, sir, got it.
Got it, right? Same thing. What we know about a physical machine, physical hard disk also same thing. Virtual hard disk, virtual machine kind of stuff. Utilize virtual hard disk. Function like a physical hard disk. You can store a data, you can access the data. Physical, okay, virtual disk utilize physical disk space. Okay, it is unbinded. It is not completely binding with your physical hardware. You can attach and detach anytime. Means you can mount and eject anytime. You can transfer your virtual hard disk to any other physical resources like storage and other physical machines. You can able to transfer it. You can copy the virtual hard disk, move the virtual hard disk, delete the virtual hard disk. Okay. Hard disk. Next, NIC is little different. Okay, NIC is little different. So we'll see the NIC kind of stuff. Virtual NICs, virtual NICs. We can say virtual NICs. Okay, so when you say a virtual NIC, then I will go to a network adapters. You have a physical NICs and a physical. These two are physical NICs. This is my virtual NIC. Okay, I'm going to VMnet 1 and VMnet 2, sorry, and there is an IP address is defined on it. Okay, of course, this is also having some IP address on it. Okay, static IP address is there. Okay, if you want to change the IP address, you can change the IP address. Okay, same thing you can able to do here also. If you want to change the IP address, you can change the IP address, right? Can you tell me what is the difference in the functionality? Here you can able to give IP address. Here you can able to give IP address. Both are virtual. This is physical. This is physical. Both you can able to give IP address. So by functionality, both are same. Both are same. Okay. So what is the use of NIC to connect it to network? So why we needed to connect it to network? To communicate from one machine to another machine. Okay. Or to form a network. But here also same thing I am doing here. It is I am connected to VMnet 1. All are connected to VMnet 1. So when I creating a virtual machines, the virtual machines I am telling connected to a VMnet 1. Just like you are connecting your machine to a switch. When you are connecting a physical machine to a physical switch, I am connecting my virtual machines to VMnet 1, my virtual machine 1, virtual machine 2, virtual machine 3, virtual machine 4. I have 4 machines. This is my virtual machine. Okay, VMnet 1. It is like an adapter cum switch type. It is an adapter for physical machine, but internal it is a kind of switch type. Okay. So when you want to communicate from one machine to another machine, we are communicating through VMnet 1 only. Okay. We can able to communicate through VMnet 1 only. Right. I'll take like this, take this one. Okay, we can communicate from one machine to another machine. Okay. Through VMnet 1, just like a switch. So what is the difference between normal physical switch to this switch kind of stuff? Okay. Okay, we can communicate together to the switch. So this is simply how we create a network in a physical environment. We need a switch and we are connecting physical machine to a switch and we communicate each other. Same goes here. Same goes here. Last time we done a DHCP practical. DHCP practical. So in the server, I configure DHCP. I configure in a server DHCP and I send packets means DHCP IP address to the client, right? The client is requested, I got IP address, DORA process, discover, offer, request, acknowledgement. So client got a IP address finally, right? How this communication is happened? I don't have any physical switches. Okay, so only through VMnet 1 it is got communicated. So in the network also somewhat we can able to tell about like this. NICs are also defined by software, that is virtual NICs, VMnet 1, VMnet 2 kind of stuff. Okay, virtual NICs same like your physical switches, physical NICs only. Okay, it utilize your physical hardware based on the requirement, because of when we use VMnet 0, the bridging kind of stuff, that utilizing your NIC. That's why I said this is little different. Okay, physical NIC is binded to VMnet 0. Okay, that we configured. So I configured like this, the physical NIC binding. So you can able to communicate if you are connected to this VMnet 0. You can able to communicate to the outside network. Okay, that is you can use. You can bind it to, you can bridge it to, sorry, you can bridge your virtual NIC to physical NIC and we can communicate outside network also. Okay, it is not permanently fixing, it is binding anything. Okay, Of course, you can't transfer anything. Okay, we can't transfer any thing, but we can delete the virtual NICs. Okay, but you can assign IP address to the virtual NICs. Okay, so we can assign IP address statically, dynamically. Also, we can able to assign a IP address. We can make a communication between one machine to another machine. We are communicated from our physical machine to Windows 10, physical machine to Linux machine through NICs only, VMnet 0 or VMnet 1, whatever it is, we are able to communicate, right? So putty we use it from your physical machine to virtual machine. Internet we used it. We download packages and we install the packages in the virtual machines. Okay, so that is what I'm trying to say is virtual machines means through NIC utilize your physical resources if it is bridge to it. Okay, and it is function like a physical NIC for communicating, assigning IP address and pinging request.
Sir,
Yeah, tell me.
sir, NIC code is useful for assign the IP addresses.
NIC is to connect your system to network interface card,
Yeah,
LAN
yes, sir.
card.
For the doubts,
NIC,
sir.
yeah, I understand. I understand. NIC is not for assigning IP address, guys. We assign IP address on the TCP layer of NIC, network interface card, to connect to network. But how to communicate in the network? Need a IP address. So we have to assign IP address on the NIC, software layer of NIC. Okay, so that's it. So we can assign IP address on a virtual NIC also. That's the point I'm trying to say, like your physical NIC. If you look at this, is my physical NIC. Is it having an IP address? Same thing. My virtual NIC also having an IP address, but I assign statically. That's it. Okay. NICs are used to connect to the network. So last 2 points, guys. Then I will switch to server. What type of virtualizations also? So once you are got, when you see a virtual thing, it is the properties of virtualization. Understand the properties of virtualization. Means what is virtualization? Function like our physical one only. Physical application, virtual application. Physical network, virtual network. Physical machine, virtual machine. Physical hard disk, virtual hard disk. Okay. Physical user, virtual user interface. Environment, virtual environment. Okay, like that. So different type of virtualizations also there. So what is these things? Virtualization can increase IT agility, flexibility, scalability while creating significant cost saving. It means, so simple example about a virtual machine again. So I created a machines in your batch when you are in a, when I'm teaching the batch thing, it is one is a Windows server, Windows client, and a Windows Linux machine. And last class we used two Linux machines. Two Linux, one is NFS, another is also NFS purpose, FTP purpose, right? Two Linux machines are we utilize. Okay, and also this is the VMware vSphere, and Proximox is there. Proximox machine is there, right? So what is this? Instead of purchasing multiple computers for a certain task, I have a hardware, so I utilize the hardware. So 12 GB RAM. What you use? What is do with the 12 GB RAM? 4 GB, 8 GB is more than enough. So I have a 12 GB, or maybe I have a 16 GB. So what is the use of that much? Is it is I utilizing the resources that is make me easy to take a class, right? Instead of purchasing another laptop, right? So virtualization is agility, flexibility, scalability means you can create multiple more things while creating significant cost saving. Greater workload mobility, increased performance, availability of resources, automated operations. They're all benefits of virtualization to make IT simpler and to manage and less costly to own the and operate. Means instead of buying a more complex servers and computer kind of stuff, you can utilize the best available resources. You can create a multiple machines, multiple days, and you can easily move from one place to another place. And we can automate the things by situation. By you can create an automatical virtual machine by writing some script kind of stuff. A lot of things are there nowadays. Okay, so because virtualization is the main base foundation of cloud computing. Nowadays, people are like to learn cloud computing, but no one is like to know what is the computer. Okay, so that's the problem. A lot of people learn, lot of people done certification in AWS kind of stuff, but most of the people not doing any job in that one. So that's the power of our CTS kind of stuff, you know. We learn everything, all our basics. That is enough for our industry. No need to do any certification in this stage. In this stage, benefits of virtualization: reduce capital and operating system costs. You don't need to put a lot of money on a servers. Like if I have a one good capacity server, in that one I run multiple virtual machines instead of buying more machines in it. Simple example I will tell. See guys, this is the machine, this is the machine, and this is the machine. Which one is a you feel best machine out of this? By looking at a picture, three physical machines are there. Which one you feel which is the best utilized machine?
Sir, I think these virtual ones.
First one or second one or third one? Which is best utilized by me? If I created, I have three machines, physical machines. Okay, by look at the picture, which one you feel best utilized? I utilized it. Guess it. How many applications are running here? As per this one,
True, sir.
two applications, two services, one DHCP, another is DNS, maybe like that. Okay, so less utilization, right? I'm not utilizing more. This is somewhat better. I can run some applications here because we have operating system also. I can run some applications here, little bit better than this one. And here it is, see, I can run multiple things, multiple operating systems and different type of applications. Maybe I want to run an application on my Windows 10 application, Windows Server applications, maybe Linux based applications, Unix based applications, right? I can create a number of machines and I install different applications, means services, applications or services. I utilizing it. So tell me which is best utilizing.
Third one, sir.
Third one.
Third one, sir.
Yes. Okay. So that is the simple understanding of the meaning, guys. You told very good sentences that's about virtualization statements. All are correct. But what is the meaning? I'm trying to tell about those meaning only. Okay. Okay. Reduce the capital means if I buy like this, how much money I have to investment compared to buying two machines like this. If I buy a one big machine and create a four virtual machines inside. So capital investment will there. Operating cost will reduce. I no need to go for five computers. Go to one computer and manage everything. Minimize or eliminate downtime. That is few other things are there inside. IT increased IT productivity, efficiency, agility, responsiveness, faster provisioning of application and resources, greater business continuity and disaster recovery, simplified data center management, availability of true software defined data center. You know, in one data center, one data center means it's we'll go to pictures. when you have a time, so go to Google data center like this. Okay, see this is a full structure of data center, but you can see like this. The one part in a single part of machine having multiple things like a routers, switches, servers, blade servers kind of stuff. Box, one single box like this. Okay, so contains routers, switches, storage servers, blade servers, rack servers kind of stuff. So when you want to see it is like a blade. This is not a blade, this is a rack. The guy is inserting, that is a blade. Okay, see it is lot of blades are there. These are all blade servers. It's a server only, means server hardware, CPU, RAM, SSD, everything is there. Simply you can able to insert and remove from the machine. That is a blade server. So look at, very simple, you can insert it and we can easily remove it. Okay, so like this. So it means one data center contains multiple machines. Each machine contains some operating system application running, for example. But I have same thing. Only thing is I don't have big RAM. So I have VMware vSphere, one machine, another machine, another machine, another machine kind of stuff. Right? So I have multiple machines. Like that, simple. Just for example, understanding only, purpose only, not really. But see, this is a true software defined data center. So you can run multiple things on a single machine. So here is a type of virtualization. Server virtualization, network virtualization, desktop virtualization, application virtualization, and storage virtualization. These are the 5 virtualizations. Plus user state virtualization and presentation virtualization. There is a link between desktop, application, user state, and presentation virtualization. So those 4 things are in a single short class only. Single short class. Okay. So first we have to discuss all these things. Then only we can come with the desktop virtualization. So after break, I will tell about a server virtualization. When I am telling you about a server virtualization, I will show you this VMware vSphere. Guys, VMware vSphere not a separate class. So I will include in a server virtualization 2 part wise. One is okay, in a VMware vSphere I will include it. Of course, HyperV I will show you in afternoon, but morning I will show you VMware vSphere. So while explaining server virtualization, for understanding server virtualization and both the things will cover there. Okay, so this is first is a server virtualization. So type of virtualizations, what are type of virtualizations? Server virtualization, network virtualization, desktop virtualization, application virtualization, and storage, user state, and presentation virtualization. Okay, actually it is a Volta part, so like a server, desktop, network. Server, desktop, application, network, and storage. Exactly, if you write types of virtualization. When you say types of virtualization, like only one kind of virtualization. One is yeah, I like 2 virtualizations. Then now this is the sequence, guys. Server virtualization, desktop virtualization, application virtualization, network virtualization, storage virtualization, and user state virtualization, presentation virtualization currently not there because it is replaced by desktop and application virtualization. Okay, but whatever it is, guys, there is no order. Important is there is no order at all. So you can say server, storage, network, desktop, application, also no problem. Okay, there is no order, but while you are reading and while you are remembering, it is better go like this. Okay. Server virtualization, network and storage, I will explain. Okay, in a separate way, but desktop application presentation virtualizations, I will explain in a one single shot only. I will try. Whatsoever it is, it's a complex subject anyway. First of all, after break, I will tell server virtualization. So take a break, come back at 11:45. Yeah, tell me.
Sir, sir, vmware is useful for only installing operating systems.
VMware,
Yes, sir.
guys. Again, VMware is an
VMware
organization.
is only used for installing operating systems or any on there.
Yeah, right. VMware. When you say VMware,
Yeah,
meaning
yes,
is
sir.
generally your meaning is VMware workstation, right? It is nothing but an
Yes.
application. It is a hypervisor application to create virtual machines. In the virtual machines, you install a operating system only. In the virtual
Okay.
machines, install a operating system only, right? Yes, the only purpose of VMware workstation is that one. But when you say VMware is nothing. It is a organization only. VMware is nothing. It is nothing but a organization. Okay, it's a company. It contains lot of products like a Microsoft products, Microsoft Windows 10, Microsoft Windows Server, Microsoft Office, Microsoft Azure Cloud Services, Microsoft Hyper-V, Microsoft Edge, Microsoft Store, Microsoft Mobile, okay, Microsoft Dynamic CRM, Dynamic 365, okay, like a Microsoft products are there. Same thing, VMware products also there, like a Google products are there, Oracle products are there, same thing, VMware products are there. When you say VMware, means lot of products are there. Okay, so
Okay.
here it
Sir,
is, mainly virtualization related products only. All are virtualization related products only.
sir, what is the main difference between virtual and physical, and virtual network and physical network, virtual user and physical user? What is the main difference?
Physical one is, you can see physically, it is a, you buy physical one, right? Usually like you want a physical NIC, physical hardware, you buy it, you pay for it, and it is a physically appear and you can able to touch it, usually like, right?
Yeah, sir.
Okay, so by functionality no difference. By functionality, like if virtual NIC or physical NIC, both are what you do with that one, same thing only. But physical things will, without a physical
Okay.
there is no virtual, without a physical there is a no virtual kind of stuff. Virtual means it's a simply a software defined or a virtual representation of it, or software based. Okay, software defined means a program will tell you that this is a CPU for a virtual machine, this is a RAM for virtual machine, like that. It utilizes your physical resources, but it is not exist. It not really touching exist on, or a purchasing kind of stuff won't be there. But it is always a big question mark. Okay, so we can't say like last time, means usually when we put a question, what is virtual, people say it is not real. But how can you say it is not real if it is not there, or it is a imaginary? Some people say it is a imaginary. Imaginary, how can you say imaginary? Because we are working on it, so how can you say it is imaginary? But physically the hardware of virtual machine is not existing. It is a software defined hardware is there, and physical machine having a physical hardware which is directly physical piece of hardware it is there. VMware is an organization. VMware provide different type of applications. VMware, vSphere, vCenter, Origin, Okay, VMware Horizon, vSAN, vSAN. Okay, vSAN. Other things also there. Cloud, V app kind of stuff is also there. Horizon spelling is wrong. Very sorry. So like that. So you can go to VMware, multi-cloud, apps and cloud, Tenzu. Okay, these are all products only. Integration with other things, vSAN, vSphere. We realize this is one thing. We realize vHorizon. It's a suite, cloud suite. vCloud directory, vCloud directory. NSX hands-on lab means NSX is a virtual network virtualization, software-defined virtualization, software-defined WANs kind of stuff. Okay.
Sir, what is the main use of VMware?
VMware.
Yes, sir.
VMware organization or a VMware workstation.
VMware workstation, sir. What is the main use?
Yeah, in VMware workstation, we can able to create a multiple virtual machines.
Okay, sir. Like operating systems.
Yeah, we create a machine. You created a machine, right? So Windows 10, Windows
Windows
servers.
Server, Linux.
Yeah, created a machine. Different virtual machines you can able to create. Okay, so 64-bit, 32-bit. So you can install different type of operating systems like a Windows 10, Windows servers. Okay, Windows world operating systems also you can able to install it. Linux based operating systems you can able to install it. Others kind of stuff, DOS, free, BSD, like that. Novel network kind of stuff. Okay, so this is the VMware ESXi type, means vSphere kind of stuff you can able to install in the virtual machines.
Yes,
We
yes,
can't
sir.
install OS in the VMware workstation. We create a virtual machine. Inside a virtual machine, we install a operating system.
Okay, sir.
Operating
Okay, sir.
system of a, yeah, okay, got it right. So operating
Yes.
system of a physical machine called a host OS. Windows 10 in my laptop is a host OS. OS in the virtual machine is guest OS. OS in the virtual machine is guest OS. Okay. Same thing goes for a Oracle VM VirtualBox. So it is given by Oracle free kind of resources. So don't worry. You can keep asking questions, no problem. Okay, because you will get lot of questions next time. If you're getting a question means really are interested in the subject. That's it. Okay, so here also you can create different virtual machines. In the virtual machines, you can install different type of operating systems. See, Windows, Unix, Linux. Solaris means Unix. Okay, so BSD, IBM OS by 2, IBM OS, Mac OS X, others. In others also, you can install this kind of stuff also. Okay, so we can create a virtual machine in that one. So when you are creating a virtual machine means you are creating a virtual version of a hardware, CPU, RAM, processor. Look at here. So when you take a virtual machine, go to edit virtual machine setting. See my virtual machine having a memory 2 GB customized. Means my physical RAM is 12 GB, but I am putting 2 GB for this one. I have 4 core processor, but I given one processor only. I have only one hard disk, for example, 2 hard disk I have, but for virtual machine I am giving 4 hard disk. Okay, 4 hard disk. Okay, CD-ROM, image I inserted instead of physical CD. Okay, no physical CD-ROM, image, ISO image, through ISO image I installed. 2 NICs. If I want more NICs, I can able to insert it. Okay, USB control, sound control, printer control, display options. Okay, so this is what a hardware I am defining hardware. What hardware virtual machine should have? Same thing. If you go to this VMware vSphere, I'll show this hardware resources. So memory 4, CPU 2, compulsory. Yeah, SCSI disk 142 first disk, second one is 200, third one is 240. Image, CD image, 1, 2, 3, 4, 4 NICs. I inserted 4 NICs. And machine can be a BIOS type or UEFI type. Firmware also I defined. I defined firmware also. Now understand guys, the difference between physical and virtual. In a physical, dedicated hardware, you can't customize your physical hardware as per requirement. When you requirement, you change like no, I want 4 GB. No, it is already 8 GB is there. I utilize 4 GB, cut another 4 GB. You can't do it physically. What is there, you have to utilize it, physical machine. But in virtually, you can define what kind of hardware you required within the limitation of physical resources. Again, within the limitation of physical resources. Yeah, it is like a one-way lecture type only, guys. Confusion is common. And I given a break time. The break time is also completed. So don't worry. So I will give you another 10 minutes. 11:55 at 12 exactly. So come back at 12 o'clock. Okay, so then I will start with the server virtualization. Guys, it is a step by step again. Please be concentrate, be interactive. We will understand. Not only you, me also I will understand what I am teaching also. So I will start by this time. Take a break, relax. If possible, go through PPT.